He threw that patch on to make it look like he was in a club, but he was never in a club.
They want to be able to tack like 15 felonies upon jaywalking across the street. This outlaw motorcycle member and it doesn't matter what they stack on you.
Because they're a friend or they know somebody and they start hanging them around and making them official hang around. Next thing you know, they're prospecting. Before you know it, they got a patch. And I'm going, you've never been in a club.
His dad was a bandito. He borrowed $100 from the club. It might have been 1,000. I don't know. But his own son was 86.
I think it was from that point on, I was like, one day, I'm going to be one of those guys.
And he said, if you don't get on a stand, you're going to lose. You're going to jail. I said, I can't take the stand.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Keri Vandiver.
Hey.
What's up, Keri? How you doing?
Hey, Bill. How you doing? I'm good. Hanging in there. How have you been?
I'm doing great. Things are good.
Good. That's good to hear.
People really enjoy the motorcycle type content. Have you been seeing it lately?
I have. I covered a little bit of what was going on allegedly in the Venezuelan gang in Colorado.
Yeah, you were one of the only people that have sense.
There was a couple others I got to give credit to out there, and I stitched their videos really because it was refreshing to see people actually live outside of the Sons of Anarchy seasons. So
it's crazy what people think that they were really the Mongols and the Hells Angels are coming to save the day.
I know. We're going to all ride out to Colorado as if there isn't HA in Colorado and like there. Why wouldn't they, So it was kind of like people are just, that's how you could tell that reality is set out of people's minds with all these shows, Yellowstone. My old boss, he'd give like speeches in the beginning before the shift started, and he'd refer to all kind of Yellowstone episodes, and we're like, dude,
quoting it.
Yeah, really. I'm like, okay, people have just lost touch with reality. So that whole Hells Angels thing right now, it's not reality. So
yeah, they're gonna go with all their enemies. They're gonna band together against some Venezuelan gang.
Just all out bloodshed. And the police are just okay with that. Like, I really thought of what possibly, because I heard that somebody got in touch with the police station and called the police and were like, oh, the bang down doors, automatic weapons, blah, 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 blah. And the cop was just like, well, it's squatters' rights. And I'm just like, so squatters' rights is banging down doors with automatic weapons? I thought you just get mail there for 30 days and they anteed it up. So what? The cop was just like, yeah, no, there's nothing we could do.
Sounds like home invasion to
me some food.
Sounds like home invasion.
It sounds like bullshit is what it sounds like, if I could say that.
I mean, I think there's miscommunication everywhere.
It really is. Social media is, I really give credit to social media, especially TikTok, because it can be very informative. But at the same time, if you're not a person that has like common sense and can like decipher what's bullshit and what's not, doing your own research and shit, it could become I don't even know what's the word to look for, like to say. It could just become something that's not reality, and you start it like with people with mental health issues, they see something and they run with it, so
it's kind of like the undercover playing biker, right?
Yeah. Ken Choke. Yeah.
Croke. That's what it is.
Ken Croke. Slam as they called him. Yeah, he's a funny guy. Him and the publisher. The publisher is pretty funny too,
Dave Wedge. I offered Dave Wedge to come on the show and have a conversation with you, and I was denied.
Yeah, I saw, and that's okay, because from a business standpoint, I guess it might be making them some money, and he might have signed an NDA or NDO, whatever it's called, and he might not be able to speak to me. So, but what I do know is that I'm not going to say who, but somebody that is also mentioned in the book received $10,000 and that part taken out of the book. And so my whole thing is, if my father were alive, number one, he'd be able to defend himself in those lies and embellishments. And two, he'd be able to sue, because that's defamation of his character. Now, for me, as his daughter, with him being passed away, defamation of character still plays a part for me because it's my father. He was still a character to me. He was still a person that I valued and I loved, you know, and he has a family and a heart and a soul, and he's not a monster. So, but from what I'm being told, unfortunately, there may be nothing that I can do, being that he's passed away, and I need to be careful with statute of limitations. So, you know, really, I don't know what else to do about that situation. Honestly, it's a
terrible.
Shame.
It's terrible. They can talk about people like that.
It is, because at the end of the day, if they were really wanting to make a difference, what's the point of profiting off of it? Like, you did your job. So, I mean, what's next? A movie, a series? And I just get to sit here and watch it? Like, you paint my father to be some kind of beast, monster, murderous, you know, bloodthirsty criminal? Like, that's not... Half of these guys own construction companies, and, you know, they're people too.
They're family men. They have families. Yeah. They have jobs. They have...
Honestly, they have lives, you know. I mean, there are some scumbags out there, but listen, there's scumbags out there that are not even gang related at all.
The scumbags that are cops.
Yeah, exactly.
Ken Croke's one of them. Look at Ken Croke.
Exactly. So, you know, it is what it is. I've seen what I've seen with my own eyes. I know what I know. And unfortunately, my father's passed away. So,
yeah, but so we can talk about what you've seen with your own eyes, which what the detective Ken Croke was doing, which he denies all this stuff.
Of course. Well, not only denies it, but I mean, as far as, like, you know, the things that he had to cover up during his Operation Takedown, whatever he called it, you know, he claims to be pretending to... Can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah, he pretends to sniff cocaine. And I'm just thinking, and when I heard that in the book, I'm like, he keeps saying cocaine. It's not cocaine. It was meth.
Like, he puts his hand like this, right? He
yeah, but he didn't even... Yeah, that's what he says he did, but he didn't do it like that. Not from what I've seen. And it damn straight went up his nose. He didn't pretend anything. You know, and then as far as him having a wife and a family and he misses them and everything else, well, he didn't miss them when he was in my cousin's bathroom banging some...
Did he pretend to have sex with them too?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I was there. Mind blown, you know? So I know what it is, and he just paints himself to be this, like, heroic guy from Boston, you know, and he's this, you know, big tough guy, and he's just a coward, honestly.
Let's talk about how these guys got their names, because they all have crazy names that are...
They've always had crazy names.
Yeah, they're like cartoon character names.
Yeah, that's funny. Conan,
my dad... Barbarian, right? Conan, it's a cartoon.
Conan, yeah. Well, yeah, there's also, you know, the myth behind that too. You know, Conan was supposed to be a what, like a god or something like that, or a Viking or something, right?
Yeah.
So there's definitely a meaning behind that one. But I mean, my dad at one point wanted to change his name after being Hogman for like 30 something years.
How did he get that name?
Hogman? Oh, man, that's one story I don't think my father ever told me. I really don't know. I know that when we were younger, he did have a potbelly pig follow him all night. That would not leave my dad alone. Like, he was just stuck to my dad's hip. So, but I think he had that name before that, so I wouldn't know. But he did want to change it to Lunchbox. And I'm like, Dad, you completely have really lost the last screw that's tight in there, for real. Because what?
Lunchbox.
You know, and then they called my Uncle Jason, they called him Roadblock. And I don't know if anybody knows why, but it's because I actually have the picture right here in my drawer. He was sitting at the table of a restaurant trying to finish off the steak. Like, you know, those steak competitions that they have.
Yeah.
He didn't finish it on time or whatever the case may be, but you know, it was a huge steak and he did finish most of it from what I believe. So they called him Roadblock because of that, from what I was told.
Why? It doesn't even correlate. So,
because he's a big guy and he blocks the road. I don't know. I want to see if I can see the picture. Right. If it's right here, then I'll get it. But I mean, yeah, no, they completely and utterly just, he was huge guy. No, it's not right here, so I'm not going to do that. All right.
There was other guys. What were their other names?
Taco.
Why'd they call him that?
You know, I don't even know. I don't know. I like, these are questions, these type of questions right here. I wouldn't know, like, people. So from what I know, your name gets chosen from how they see you, your personality, what you may like, what you may embellish that you like. So it may very well be possible that Taco was Spanish. So they gave him the name Taco because tacos are a Spanish food, maybe, you know? So, God, I have a mind fuck right now. I really couldn't tell you all these names.
Ken's name was Slam, right?
Oh, yes.
And you were there the day he got that name, weren't you? Or did you hear about it?
I was around, no, because I was staying with my cousin where they always went back to after the bullshit. Because she was dating a pagan too. And so I'd be at the house sometimes and be there, you know, I'd be in and out. But sometimes I'd be there to catch the back end of the drama. So I wasn't there when he did it, but I was at my cousin's house and heard all the ruckus and, you know, like the aftermath stories and shit. But from what I know, he willingly slammed that guy on his neck and enjoyed it. And like, not saying that, you know, I don't want to say he enjoyed it, but he did it with no hesitation. So call that good at your job or really something that maybe you wanted to do and get away with.
He broke his neck too, right?
From what I heard, yeah. From what I heard, he broke his neck.
And he's a cop playing undercover biker.
Mm-hmm.
It breaks a guy's neck.
Mm-hmm.
And he adopts the name Slam.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, crazy, right?
Insane what they let him do.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It's crazy. This whole thing is just, you know, different. It's not even the same as it used to be, unfortunately. So, you know, I try to pick and choose the things that I say about anything because, you know, you never know how somebody feels. There's a lot of people that are sensitive and, you know, because I'm a woman, you know, I'm not supposed to, you know, talk about certain things, but whatever.
You get a lot of pushback on TikTok sometimes, right?
I do. Yeah. And the only reason why I've, you know, put a pause on that content is for a loved one, you know, who they have a conversation with, a heated conversation with, I'll just say. And so, out of honor of that person, I will pause the content until, you know, that person is rather old and health-wise not doing so well. So I can only imagine. So once unfortunately that person passes away, I will continue some content respectfully, you know, because at the end of the day, I do have love for the 16. You know, my dad did dedicate the rest of his life to them, you know, and kind of put me on the back burner, which sucks. But that's what happens when you commit yourself to a brotherhood or a collective. So, you know, unfortunately, they don't agree with women talking about certain things about their club, and I'm going to respect that. So when I do come back with the content, I am going to be a little bit more cautious about the things I'm not supposed to be talking about, I guess.
I mean, you really don't talk about club business and things like that.
Well, that's my whole point too. You know, I'm not going to sit here and argue with a 16 member, you know, about their own shit. But what I will say is that I'm a woman, and it's not like I go to their clubhouse and I go to their meetings and church and whatever the fuck they call it, you know, and, you know, respectfully, I'm just like, I don't know their business. I don't know what they got going on. I don't know their rules. However, there is somebody on TikTok releasing videotapes of Lou Dobkin's voice talking about why this and why the cut and why this patch and why that patch. Like, those are things my father prided on keeping secret. So I'm a little confused as to how, even though he's a man, like, number one, is he even a patched in member? And number two, I just don't understand how, you know, he's got a whole Facebook page now and doesn't seem like he's too knowledgeable on certain people, posting up people's pictures that might not. My uncle didn't even know his photo was put up on social media. He doesn't do social media. He looks at it and is confused. I'm lucky if he knows even how to text me back, you know?
Yeah.
So for him to know that there's a picture of him on the internet is just like, oh, wow. Okay. So, you know, whoever that guy is. So my content is nowhere near, you know, anything like that. And I would never, as we in the gang community call it, putting shit on wax. We won't do shit like that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and put my oath on fucking camera and let everybody know, hey, this is what it is. And this is what it's for.
You're not explaining the bylaws for people that don't know. Who is Lou Dobkins?
Oh God. So this is one of the reasons why that heated conversation took place with my loved one, is because, you know, I thought this person was the founder and it wasn't. So to my knowledge, don't quote me, but as far as I know, emphasis on I know, possibly, is the founder of the Pagans, from what I know, you know, and from what this guy is telling everybody he is. So if that's facts, then, you know, that's facts. Lou Dobkins is the founder of the Pagans MC.
And he left a long time ago.
Left or passed away. I also don't know that.
In those tapes, I think in those tapes, they said he left the motorcycle club. It was going in a different direction. It sounds like Sons of Anarchy, like those tapes and shit.
Well, that's just the thing. And that's what correlates with the whole Colorado situation, is that there's so many people engaged in the Sons of Anarchy because, I don't know if you know this, but it's a well-known fact, you probably do, that there was a Hells Angels member or ex-member, whatever, that gave intel to Kurt Sutter for the show and also acted in the show as well.
Yeah, there was members there. Sonny Barger was in the show.
Exactly. So that is also why people are so enthusiastic about, like, this one guy. Oh my God, I stitched his video. And although he's he makes good content, he's a good advocate for situations that really do take place, people just went for the gun. Like, he just was so enthusiastic and so proud, like a proud American. Yeah. You know, and I'm just like, fuck, this guy's making an ass out of himself right now. And it's all because, I mean, even myself, I got engulfed with Sons of Anarchy, you know, and I still love it. I've watched the all seasons twice. I promise you, I love it. But my dad did tell me that he hated the show because it depicted the Hells Angels. And my uncle made a good point. He's like, listen, they do more fucking shit and crime in one episode than I've done in my whole career as a fucking pagan. And he's like fucking 70 something years old. Like, you know, so the whole embellishment of the whole thing, like, I'm just like, you know, at this point, people are so out of touch with reality because of social media. Just, you know.
Do you think the Pagans get a bad rap?